In today's class, we are going to look at another question in economics. We are going to solve the question on the screen. Find the demand function Q is a function of price if elasticity is equals to negative into bracket 5p plus 2p squared all over Q, and Q is equals to 500 when P is equals to 10. Let's start by writing out the parameters that we are given in the question.
We are given the elasticity as this, the quantity as 500 and the price as 10 naira. Let me put naira. The price as 10 naira, and we are told to determine the quantity. Demand function Q is equals to FP. The meaning of this statement is that the quantity is a function of price. Do you understand? Now I want to pay attention. To solve this question, you have to remember the elasticity formula, okay? You have to remember the elasticity formula. From your basic economics, the elasticity formula is given by this. Let me just put it like this. The elasticity is equals to the Q all over the P multiplied by P over Q. This is the elasticity formula. If you still remember from your basic economics, that is the elasticity formula. Now, since you know that the given elasticity in the question is this, and the formula of elasticity is this, we are going to equate both elasticity to each other. Do you understand? It is very, very simple, okay? Just pay attention. You know that from the question, we've been given that the elasticity is equal to this. Now, we know from our basic economics that this is the formula of elasticity. We are going to equate both elasticity to each other. You understand? So let us equate both elasticity. Let me call this E1 and let me call this E2. So the first step is that E1 is equals to E2. Okay? So let us proceed. So I'm going to have minus into bracket 5p plus 2p squared all over Q is equals to the Q over the P multiplied by P over Q. Please, I want you to pay attention, okay? Just follow this carefully. You are going to understand it, okay? Now, please, there is another thing I want you to take note. I want you to take note of the negative sign, okay? The negative sign is affecting all the parameters inside the bracket, okay? So now, the next step is that you are going to divide both sides by P over Q. Don't forget that our aim is to derive the demand function Q is equals to FP, okay? So the next step is that we are going to divide both sides by P over Q, okay? So for this, I'm going to have divided by P over Q, and this one also divided by P over Q. Do you understand? Okay, now let us deal with this side, okay? Let's first deal with this side. I want to explain this now, okay? Look at this. Negative into bracket 5p multiplied by 2p squared all over Q. Now, this division sign, I'm going to put it here. Divided by this P over Q is here. P over Q. Let us solve this side first, okay? I want to deal with this side now. And that's why I rewrite it in this place, okay? Now, this can be written as minus 5p times, it's not times, so it is addition sign, okay? It's addition sign, okay? Plus 2p squared all over Q multiplied by this Q all over P. You know the reason? Because the sign changes. The division sign changes to multiplication. So the numerator will come to the numerator will come to the denominator, and the denominator, which is Q, will come to the numerator of the fraction, okay? Now, this Q can divide this Q. So I'm left with what? Negative 5p plus 2p squared all over P. Do you understand? Because if Q here 1, this times 1 is this. Q here 1, this times this is what? P. Do you understand? Okay? Now, I've solved this side. This side now is negative into bracket 5p plus 2p squared all over P. Do you understand? Now let us deal with this side. The value of this side is this, okay? Now I want to solve this side. So for this side, I'm going to have the Q over the P multiplied by P over Q, which is the numerator. This is the numerator, okay? Divided by P over Q. P over Q. Do you understand? Okay? For this, I'm going to have the Q over the P multiplied by P over Q. Now, if this division sign changes to multiplication sign, I'm going to have multiplied by Q over P, because this denominator will come to the numerator, which is Q, and P will change it to denominator. So this will be cancel this Q will cancel this Q, and this P will cancel this P. Do you understand? So I'm left with what? The Q over the P. Please, do you understand? So the simplified version of the second aspect in the right hand side of this equation is
the Q over the P. Do you understand how I got the Q over the P? I just simplified the right hand side of the equation, okay?
So the above equation have been reduced to this. Now, I want to pay attention in this place. The next step is that we are going to open this top bracket, the numerator, we are going to open it with minus. So I'm going to have negative multiplied by positive 5p. I'm going to have negative 5p. Negative multiplied by positive 2p squared. I'm going to have negative 2p squared all over p is equals to the Q all over the P. Now, let us transpose. I'm going to bring the right hand side of this equation, I'm going to bring it here, and bring the left hand side to this place. So I'm going to have the Q over the P is equals to negative 5p negative 2p squared all over P. Okay? Pay attention here, okay? Look at this. If I have x plus y over z, this can be written as x over z plus y over z, because if I find the LCM is what? Z divided by z, 1 times x, I'm going to have this, okay? So if I have 2 plus x over let's say over 9, this can be written as 2 over 9 plus x over 9. If I take the LCM, I'm still going to have this, okay? So now, the reason why I cite this example is because we are going to make use of it as the right hand side of this equation. So let me erase this. Now, that means that if I have negative 5p, negative 2p squared, all over p can be written as negative 5p, negative 2p squared, this over p and this over p. Do you understand? If you find the LCM, you are still going to have this again. Now, this p can divide this p. So I'm going to have negative 5, and this p can divide one of these p. So I'm going to have negative 5, negative 2p. Do you understand? The reason why I have p here is because p squared is what? P times p. And p times p divided by p is what? This p will cancel this p. So I'm left with what? 1p. Negative 2 times p. That is why I have negative 2p. Do you understand? If you do understand, reverse the video and listen to the explanation again. Okay, let's proceed. So I'm going to have the Q over the P is equals to negative 5, negative 2p. Now, the next step is that I'm going to cross multiply. Don't forget that negative 5, negative 2p can be written as negative 5, negative 2p over 1. Okay? So now, if you cross multiply, this p will multiply this, and this one will multiply this. Okay? So I'm going to have the Q is equals to negative 5, negative 2p multiplied by the P. Do you understand? The Q multiplied by 1 will give the Q. The P multiplied by all these things will give this. Okay? So now, the next step is that I'm going to integrate both sides. Don't forget that the opposite of differentiation is what? Integration. Okay? Now, pay attention. If you are asked to integrate x raised to the power of n, the integral of x raised to the power of n is equals to x raised to the power of n plus 1 divided by n plus 1. Do you understand? So let us integrate. Apply the integral sign. Integral dq is equals to integration of negative 5, negative 2p dp. Now, don't forget, I told you that integration is the opposite of differentiation. So if I have dx, immediately I put integral of dx. That means I'm going to have x. Do you understand? So integration of dq will give what? Q. Do you understand? So this will be equals to, now I want to pay attention here. Let's say we are asked to integrate x squared plus 2. Okay, integral of x squared plus 2 will be equals to x raised to the power of 2 plus 1 all over 2 plus 1 plus 2x plus c. So this will be equals to x raised to the power of 3 over 3 plus 2x plus c. So the integration of x squared plus 2 is this. Now I want you to pay attention. If we integrate a constant, when we integrate a constant here, it carries x. So if I integrate negative 5, it will carry what? P. So I'm going to have negative 5p. Okay, negative 5p. If you integrate negative 2p, that will be, this power will gain 1. I'm going to have 1 plus 1 all over 2. Do you understand? So negative 2p over 1 plus 1. Let me do it step by step. So for this, I'm going to have negative 2p squared all over 2. So this 2 will cancel this 2. So I'm left with what? Negative p squared. Please, do you understand it to this point? If you didn't understand it to this point, it is very, maybe you should revisit your differential calculus, okay? Revisit your differential calculus. That's because these are basic things that you also understand in differentiation, okay? When you are the opposite of differentiation is what? Integration, okay? So when you differentiate, if you integrate that function again, you are going to get the same function. So if you I have the q here. If I integrate this, I'm going to have q. If I integrate this, I'm going to have this. Do you understand? Okay, so now don't forget, we have to have constants. We have to add constants. The reason why we have to add constants is because when we differentiate a constant, we are going to get what? 0. You understand? So if you differentiate a constant, you are going to get 0. So that's why anytime we integrate, we assume that a constant has already been differentiated that is invisible. That's why we had what? C. Okay, so now let us proceed. We have gotten to this place. Please, I want you to note the integration. This integration, I want to note this. Okay, so let me rewrite the demand function. Let me rewrite it in this place. So q is equals to negative 5p negative p squared plus c. But we cannot leave the demand function as this. We have to determine the value of c. Okay, this is the demand function. Okay, but we cannot leave it like this. We have to determine the value of c. So now, to determine the value of c, don't forget that we have given that q is equals to what? 500. So I'm going to substitute the value of 500 as q is equals to negative, don't forget that p is what? 10. So I'm going to have negative 5 into bracket 10 minus 10 squared plus c. I'm very sure you understand what I did in this place. Look at this. We've been given that q is equals to 500 and p is equals to 10. So in order to determine the value of my c, I substitute the value of q as 500 and the value of p as 10. So that's how I got this. Let's proceed. This 500 is equals to negative 50 because 5 times 10 is 50. I have negative here, so I have negative here also. For this, I'm going to have negative 10 squared is what? 100. Okay, plus c. Please don't say minus 10 times minus 10. No, this 10 will not be this negative will not affect this 10. You are not going to take the square of negative 10. Okay, you are going to take the square of 10 alone. Okay, if you take the if you take the square of negative 10, you are going to have positive 100. Do you understand? So take note of that. I'm going to have 500 plus 50 plus 100 is equals to c, because if both negative 50 and negative 100 crosses the equals to sign, they are going to change to positive. Do you understand? So 500 plus 50, that's 550. 550 plus 100, that is 650. So c is equals to 650. Do you understand? So the next step is that I'm going to substitute the value of c into the demand function. Okay, I'm going to substitute the value of c into the demand function. So the required demand function is equals to q is equals to negative 5p minus p squared plus 650. So you can rearrange it as this. Q is equals to 650 minus 5p minus p squared. So this is the required demand function. Okay, so now when you are given this in the exam, when you are given the elasticity, the Q and the P, the first step is that you are going to remember the elasticity. Okay, the elasticity. After remembering the elasticity, you are going to equate the elasticity that you are given and the formula of elasticity. The next step is that you are going to divide both sides by P over Q. So after dividing both sides by P over Q, you are going to solve for Q, okay, by integrating. When you have simplified, you are going to integrate. After integrating, you are going to get your demand function as this. After getting your demand function, you go back to the question. They are giving you the Q and the P. You substitute the values into this. You are going to get the value of C. After getting the value of C, you come back to the demand function and substitute the value of C into the demand function. After substituting, you are going to get the required demand function. And kindly hit the like button and drop comments. Tell me how the video is doing. Tell me what you learned in the video in the comment section, okay? And I'm going to reply. I'll see you in the next class.